Volvo IPS with dynamic positioning system and the dock assist honestly allows you to berth this Riviera 6800 Sport Yacht Platinum by yourself, guys, and that's what we're doing just here. We had it on alongside the dock, and we just set it on a little bit of sideways push for me to release all the lines. Just speeding this up a little bit, and as you can see now I'm exiting the berth. It is so simple because the boat will just hold position in exactly the position you left it when you released your fingers from the joystick. All you have to do with dock assist is give little touches on the joystick forward, and it will go 1 meter forward at a time. If you release the joystick, it's just going to hold position like it is right now. I'm releasing it just to test it right next to the dock, and now I'm side slipping it away, and see how the bow thruster is then working in unison with the IPS. It works that well. We've got tide flowing in here, just to let you know. So now I'm just clearing the dock, and then I'm going to reposition it just away from the marina, and I'm going to collect the fenders myself. You can just run up the side and then put them in the fender locker up in the bow, which you can open with even with the covers still in place. And so if you just put your partner in the same position as I was on the other side, you've both got good viz, easy access to those fenders, and this thing, honestly, it doesn't move. The technology is now at a state that we can enjoy and use big boats like this by ourselves. So that's my main point that I want to convey to you if you're concerned about something of this size being good for the family. Let's go for a drive. So we're starting this test out in the ocean, guys, and I've got the 0-speed stabilization on right now. So they are the fins. I'm just going to show you with them off. We do have some rolling swells around us. Then we're going to be going for a drive. So let's just go off, okay? And now let's just watch the boat as the swells roll underneath us. Don't have any wind today, but we do have some ocean swells. Just want to give you a feel for the difference that makes. Okay, so let's let another wave roll underneath us. It's got a low center of gravity, basically. And when we reactivate it, so we go bow anchor, full stroke, and then you have to confirm, just in case there was someone in the water, just look at the difference just now. Okay, and the boat has really settled down. Makes a huge difference, quite pleasurable. So I'm just going to now turn that off, okay? And the reason why we do that is because we want to set it into essentially driving mode, which is now I'm doing, and when it reaches over 3 knots, I'm told that the page on the display goes back to stabilization mode, and it gets into stabilization underway. So we're now going to get underway, and we're going to bring you guys along for the ride. I'm actually just going to bring the boat straight up to cruising speed. There we go, and confirming that the screen did pop over into stabilization underway. Isn't that lovely when stuff works? All right, let's bring the boat straight up to speed, because you can't show a Riviera without starting the ocean, in my opinion. These things are just fantastic sea boats. They're really great for wanting to eat up the miles. And this boat, the 6800 Sport Yacht, is incredibly manageable for a couple. 1800 revs, seeing a GPS speed of 21 knots. She wants to go faster, so I'm going to do that. I've got my seat forward. I can electrically move it forward and back, up and down. It is an incredibly comfortable experience. And so now I'm seeing 23 knots. I'll call out the fuel burn in a second. I'm just getting familiar with my surroundings. And let's get up to 27. Okay, 2,100, 2,200 revs, seeing 26 and a half. We're going to settle into a cruising speed. I'm going to go through 90 degrees to port, and then I'm just going to keep those buoys, keep them to port, or I might go in between them. I'll make a decision in a sec. So, one of the observations on all Rivieras of this style that I've driven now, they don't have a great deal of heel through the turns, so you can actually have something on the kitchen bench, and it's probably not going to fall off, because the sensation is incredibly smooth. You might be able to see the wash as we go through some of these swells, moving forward and aft, so that's the bow going up and down, just proving that we are in some rolling ocean swells. I'm just going to hold this line now, and I've got the swell
on my port aft quarter, and I'm maintaining a speed of 27 and hitting 28 knots down through the waves, and I've got a fuel flow of 10 litres per nautical mile, and that is a 260 to 270 litres total. So we're running the IPS 1350s. They are 1,000 horsepower, but that's equivalent to 1,350 on a shaft, rolling through some sizable swells just here. They are on our port beam, port to port aft, and this thing is solid. If you look through that camera there and see my direction against the buildings, this is fantastic. So let's start talking about engine load and fuel flow, and then we'll go down the beach and then into the swells in a second. I'm sitting on an engine load hovering between 75 to 80% engine load. That's giving me the 10 litres per nautical mile fuel flow total, somewhere around about 300 now. And I'm getting a speed return of between 26.5 and a little over 27 knots. Visibility's all good. Now I'm going to adjust my course and run south. So comfortable. I just cannot stress enough how incredibly comfortable these things are for eating up miles. I'm yet to find a brand of boat that comes close to a Riv. And now that we're on arguably quite a large Riv, the tech, which I've already experienced this morning, which is going to be coming up later in this video, that allows us to run this thing short-handed, and we're going to show this to you. I think we could arguably say it's now making a 70-foot boat. We're over 70 feet overall. It's now making a 70-foot boat manageable, equivalent to a 40-foot boat 15 years ago. The position hold technology on this joystick is that good, and I tested it in tide this morning. We're going to show that later in the video. So cruising still at a average speed of 27 knots, 2,200 revs, level attitude. We've got some swells on the port bow. We're not going directly into them yet, but they are somewhat ahead of us now. And just pay attention how the horizon through my starboard window is pretty much level. You know, we've got one and a half, and at times probably 1.5 at max. I've seen a couple of big ones up to 2 max, but you do this on many other boats, that's not the experience you're going to get. So this is incredible. My polarized sunglasses can see some of the vertical lines in the glass, but when you take them off, you got super clear viz. That happens on a lot of boat glass, but just to point it out, I don't actually know the answer as to why that happens. If you do, jump in the comments and let me know. But I think whenever you have a curved glass, polarized glasses will pick that up. Got the drop down window here. We might play with that when we get inshore. And let's go into the swells now. I can adjust this wheel, just don't feel the need. I love having the throttle, joystick, bow thruster and windscreen wiper operation all accessible to me on my right hand, my throttle hand. And I've also got the Garmin touchpad, which allows me to operate all 3 screens. We're running, I've got the depth sounder, I've got all my engine feed on top of that, chart plotter, and I've got multiple cameras on the port screen. The multifunctional display, so you can do what you want. Now we're going to hold this course into the swells for a little bit, and we'll just see if we get any water over onto the bow lounge up the front. Really cool bow lounge. Some unique things going on there. So check out the walkthrough video, which is separate to this one. If that's of interest to you, you may have already come from that video. Up and over a couple of big ones. Okay, are these going to get us wet? The answer is no. I'm seeing the wash going out there. It's going aft. We do not have any water on the windscreen. Still maintaining that 27 knots. And my engine load, it hasn't really come over 80%. So this is a realistic, here we go, there's our biggest one of the day. And, well done, Riv, that was awesome. Okay, let's just go across the swells Okay, another steep one here. That's going to hit us in 3, 2, 1, and smooth landing. Smooth landing. Yeah, all the designs that I've seen in the factory, I've not seen this one out of the water, but I'm assuming it's the same. They seem to carry their V well into the midsection of the boat, so you, combined with the nice thick hulls, you do seem to get that cushioning effect, which makes your life a lot more comfortable. So let's just run it up to 100% out here because we can, and then I'll do a proper speed test inshore. All right, coming up through 90% load. I'm seeing 29 knots. The acceleration is really noticeable. It does get up and go. We're a big boat, but she gets up and goes. Still 10 litres per nautical mile, but 315 total. Let's go wide open throttle. Okay, that's foot to the floor, 100% load on the motors, 385 total. So that's a little bit of an increase there. Although I do love burning diesel, it brings me so much joy, so that's okay. Alrighty, 2,460 revs. Let's just see if that settles. The speed is hovering on 32 knots SOG, and I've got 100% load, 11 litres per nautical mile, that 380 to 385 consumption total. Sensation, quite smooth and controllable. So let's just back it off, and now let's play with slower speeds and just bring you along for the ride. So let's just see how she behaves. A little bit of bow raise just there. I'm coming down to 2100 revs, and people in the water. Seen a few dolphins around today, so just watching out for wildlife. 26 knots. Let's just come back to 23. So that's 2,050 revs just there. Not enough bow raise to encourage me to want to stand up at all. It's just no need. This seat's so comfortable. Stay here. Okay, so she's sitting at 2,050 revs, giving me 10 litres per nautical mile, 70% load, and 255 litres consumption total. And then let's just back it off. Let's just try and get to 20 knots, see if she wants to hang her ass a little bit. Oh, I don't even need to turn around. I've got a camera. This is so good. It's so good. Awesome. 23 knots, 1,950 revs, 220 litres total, 9.5 per nautical mile, and just below 70% load. So you could really eat up some miles. I think if you did have some rougher weather, you might hover around this speed. And let's just get to 20 if we can. 1850 revs. Let's go to 1800. Okay, you notice a noticeable settling of the bow below 1800. I'm at 1750 revs there. So the bow's just settled down there. I got 20 knots, pretty much 20 knots even there. 180 litres total consumption, 58% load on the motors, and 9 litres per nautical mile. And let's just dial that right back, and let's just go slow speed for potential range. Got 4,500 litres fuel tank on this one. Obviously don't rely on all 4,500 litres. You want to be factoring in sort of 80% of that, 90 only on good conditions. And let's just bring that right down, 13 knots, making a ginormous wave. That'd be great for jet skiers and would piss off everyone else. So just be conscious of that. And in the ocean, it's fine. Do not do this inshore. 1,400 revs, 13 knots, 50% load, and 100 litres total consumption. I'm just going to dial it back even more until the wave is more acceptable. I noted on the drone that was around about your 10 knot speed. So at about your 10 knots, let's just dial it back, 1,100 revs. I do like having this helm to starboard because anyone here can get up and move around freely without having to interfere with what I'm doing. Drop down windows, great for comms, and we've got the wing stations, which you're going to see in a second. So 11 knots, let's dial it back. Still making a little bit of a wave here. Do be conscious of others, you know, kayaks and that sort of stuff, big boat like this. It's so quiet, It's so smooth. The transition onto plane is almost unnoticeable compared to many boats you see me test. So you might surprise yourself that you're doing 27 or 29 knots before you thought you were. And so just have some focus behind you and around you so you don't, negatively affect other people. So that's 10 knots on 950 RPM, 26% engine load, 35 litres total, 33 litres total per hour, 3.6 litres per nautical mile, and 25% load. So you could eat up some miles. I reckon some of you Kiwis watching this are probably going to drive this across the pond. I haven't done the numbers. Jump in the comments if you have, because I suspect that's going to be on the cards for a few of you Kiwis who've potentially already ordered one of these. I know a lot of you are looking at these boats because you write to me. Very interesting. Okay, keep watching and we'll go to the next part of the video. Okay, speed test, standing start. We're going to do both directions. I've got traffic all around me, so I'm going to do my best. I'm just going to go straight up to wide open throttle. Jet ski crossing my bow, and let's accelerate. Alrighty. Oh, okay, look at this guy, right? That is a dumb maneuver. Okay, sorry, a tinny. Oh, what is he doing? I can't accelerate here, guys. This tinny is just full of kids, has just crossed my bow with not a safe amount of room. Okay, now we're going to accelerate. Oh my God, some people not thinking, and what's he going to do now? He's going to cross my bow again? Didn't even look at me. Pay attention when you're boating, guys. Like if I wasn't looking, I could have accelerated into that tinny full of kids. That just worries the hell out of me. Okay, alrighty. He's just driving like a galah. There we go. All right, now we've got wide open throttle, feeling the acceleration, hooking in the turn. I can't believe I'm on a 70-footer and holding that turn, just losing some drinks from the fridge, I think. There we go. And 30 knots, flat water, 31, 385. That's what we saw out in the ocean. I've got 100% load, gonna have to come off the plane pretty soon. And 32 knots. Very consistent, minimal bow raise on acceleration, very, very quiet, incredibly smooth. Let's turn around and do it the other direction before any more traffic comes and gets in our way. We do have, I think it's still some outgoing tide in this location here. Alrighty, just gonna make sure I'm within the markers. Do I see any traffic coming the other way? No, it looks good. Got depth. And I'm just going to turn around on the spot here. I'll just let my swell behind me dissipate and starboard engine down, hard over. Always check your risk point. Big long boat like this, if you had someone close behind you, you'd wallop them. Now I'm going to center and just do transverse thrust. Little tinny, hopefully he'll get the idea, so I'm going to accelerate. Don't cross my bow. It's always a bit of fun when we got the traffic. Where's he going? No, not even looking at me. Let's not hurt anyone today. Okay, I'm going to go behind him. Where's my marker? There it is. I'm all clear. He's going to get a wave behind him. That's okay. At least it's not ahead of him. All right, full acceleration. Okay, this is a proper acceleration this time, guys. No interferences. Holding my line straight. Okay, I'm up to 24 knots, 25 knots, 100% load. I can see the speed climbing through 28 knots. Acceleration is smooth. We're at 30 knots. Fuel flow is 388 total. Okay, and I'm at 32.6 knots. 33, just seen 33 knots. Coming through the corner here, maintaining that turn at speed, level attitude, smooth, Don't even need to leave my seat. Fantastic. Fantastic. Coming off the plane now. Alrighty. That's awesome. That is just so impressive. Okay, so let's go and do a touch and go at the marina and bring you guys along for the experience. And this is where we're going to prove how easy it is to operate this thing single-handed or with a partner. It's totally doable as it is. Keep watching. So engine shutdown is just stop, stop, and then you can ignition just here at the dash. It's got the C-zone like all Rivieras, so you start and finish your day with this panel. There is another one at the entrance to the boat in the saloon. Come out with me onto the bow. We've got a lock, just unlock these pins here, and then you just turn this and give it a push, and she goes aft, like so. Big, solid door, that one. I hope that was useful, ladies and gents. I hope that was valuable. Let me just remind you, before I get to the bow, of the incredible fender and covers storage. You can still open this with the covers on. Whoever made the covers for these rivs has had to put covers on and off before themselves because they've done an incredibly good job, and it shows. It definitely shows. Just quickly, anchoring the boat was simple. You do have to send someone forward to release this claw safety right here. So that's a necessity. And then once that has been released, you can operate it from the bow, but you can also operate it from the helm like we did. And this huge, big stainless steel roller, so there's your remote control just there. And we've got fresh water and raw water wash. And we've also got the metal handle for the clutch, which is important because I did one of these on another boat the other day with a plastic handle and the bloody thing broke. So all these little details that I've attended to on a Riv is why you buy a Riv, in my opinion, because it's been designed by someone who goes boating, by a group of people who go boating, and they really do care. So that all works. We're in 5 meters of water. We came back on the boat. We've actually got a camera that shows us the chain from the helm. So once that claw is released, you don't really have to do anything. And because of our active fin stabilization and the boat's inherent low center of gravity, I don't see this as a vessel that's dangerous to send anyone forward. It really is something that I can't believe I'm saying this. I think a couple would be fine to run this boat by themselves. You know, with that joystick technology that we trialed earlier in the day, with the ease of access to every part of the boat, from the rope lockers to the cleats to the winch to deploying the tender, this is a design of boat that's going to keep the family together. This is the impression that it gives me. It's a design, because of her ease of use and ability to go many places, it's going to keep all 3 generations, 4 if you're lucky, together, because it's going to be so easy for you to go boating. What do you compare it with? I don't know. Write to me in the Patreon if you are doing that. I think I suspect if you're an Aussie and you're looking at this, you've already had a Riviera. It's simple. There's really not much else that's going to stand up to the quality of what we experienced today on this boat. If you're watching from England or America, I suspect like some of the Princess owners might find some appeal in a design like this. It is, in my opinion, customized for the Southern Hemisphere, for ocean, and very suitable for a lot of what you Yanks are doing. So get in there to the Patreon and write to me if you wish. We're gonna film a little bit of extra content that's specifically targeted at you guys, trying to answer some of those extra questions from an ownership perspective, and that's all going to go up there on the Patreon. I'll pop up some other boats on the screen right now for you to have a look at. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share it with your mates. That's what keeps this channel growing and getting out to you. Again, my name's Dan Jones. You've been watching Dan's Boat Life. Love you lots. See you on the next one.